Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Mario, and welcome to Independent Local Political News. We're going to be going over the executive orders that were signed by Donald Trump in his very first day of office. My goal is to learn more about politics in the next 4 years, and while I'm learning, I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride so we can learn together. Let's get started with those executive orders that he just signed today. Guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion. An essential feature of any sovereign nation is the existence of territorial boundaries and the inherent authority to decide who and what may cross these boundaries. So, pretty much in this one, he's giving the government more power to deal with the border. Next, we have restoring names that honor American greatness. In this one, he is going to be renaming Denali back to Mount McKinley, which was its original name before it was changed by President Obama to honor the natives of that area. Mount McKinley is going to be named after one of our presidents who Donald Trump really likes because he was a big fan of tariffs. Another renaming that Donald Trump will be doing is he will be renaming the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. I'm not sure if he has the legal right to do that, but that's not stopping him from trying. Donald Trump is designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designed global terrorists. This is going to give him the ability to fight the cartels along the border. Some even believe it will give him the power to go into Mexico and pull off special operations. He was asked this question, and his answer was maybe. Next, we have reforming the federal hiring process and restoring merit to government service. So he's putting a freeze on all hiring. He doesn't want any new employees hired by the government unless it's for the military, national security, or to enforce the border and health services. Next, we have ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. DEI, for those who don't know, stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. In this one, he is putting an end to training that government workers get that teaches them about diversity, equality, and inclusion. Three things that he does not believe in. Donald Trump believes that we should all be judged on a merit-based system and not a system based on our race. That no race should have an upper hand on the other just because they were treated poorly in the past. Next, we have defending women from gender ideology, extremists, and restoring biological truth to the federal government. This one is talking about that the government will no longer be recognizing transgender as a sex. They will only be recognizing male and female and not transgender. Next, we have establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency. So that's Doge, guys. That's Elon Musk's department. He's making it official. It is now going to be a department in the White House. That's what he's trying to do. We're not sure if he has the power to do that. Believe it's something that must be done by the Congress. But he's trying anyways. Next, we have America's First Policy Directive to the Secretary of State. This is where Donald Trump is telling the government that they need to start focusing on America first. That all departments have to change their way of thinking and to put America in the forefront. Next, we have protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. This is another one about the border. It's going to be giving him more power to send troops, to send military to the border, to control the border, to build the wall, and to deport illegals and whoever the hell he wants, pretty much. Next, we have unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. He calls this drill, baby, drill. He is going to go into Alaska, which has protections, and he's going to start to get all the oil that he can and make us energy independent, he says. Protecting the American people against invasion. Another one that gives him control of the border, gives him the ability to call in troops and to deport. So this next one is called the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development Global Tax Deal. This is one of Joe Biden's old executive orders that Donald Trump will be reversing, which makes us not have to follow the rules of this deal that was made. Next, we have organization of the National Security Council and subcommittees. This is giving him the ability to make some changes when it comes to national security. Next, we have reevaluating and realigning United States foreign aid. This one is going to be where he no longer wants to give as much money to countries. America supports a lot of countries out there, and he feels that we should not be supporting that many countries with that much money. Next, we have temporary withdrawal of all areas on the outer continental shelf from offshore wind leasing and review of the federal government's leasing and permitting practices for wind projects. The wind turbines that make electricity, those he wants to get rid of. He says they're ugly and that sometimes they don't even work. So he's putting a stop to the wind turbines. Donald Trump declared a national energy emergency, saying that we need to drill, we need to frack, we need to get all the natural gases out of the earth, all the oil, and we need to start selling it to the rest of the world and become number one in energy production. Next, we have restoring accountability for career senior executives. That one's going to be about the people who were fired for not wanting to get vaccinated in order to come back to work. A lot of military and federal employees decided that they didn't want to get the vaccine during COVID and they were let go. Donald Trump says he will bring them back, give them the positions, and give them all their back pay. Next, we have promoting beautiful federal civic architecture. He feels that Washington, as the capital of the United States, should be a beautiful place. He says that it's been run down, it's been beat up, it's full of homelessness. He wants to put money into it to make it beautiful so that when other countries come to visit, it's something to be proud of. Next, we have restoring the death penalty and protecting public safety. He is ordering his attorney general to find and to purchase as much of the lethal injection drug that is needed so that people on death row won't have to wait long to get their drug and to die. Next, we have putting people over fish, stopping radical environmentalism to provide water to Southern California. He wants to take away protections that are on wildlife, and he wants to make it so that we can use those areas that are being protected for water and energy. Next, we have securing the borders. Another one that gives him more power to do what he wants on the border. Next, protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. This is the big one. This is where he is saying that if you were born in America, that does not make you a citizen. So if your parents came from another country and they're not American citizens, but they give birth to you while they're here, that will no longer make you an American citizen, which has been the way it has always been since the founding of our country. It's the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, and it says that anyone born in America is a citizen of America. Next, we have realigning the United States Refugee Admission Program. He got rid of the app that people use in order to make appointments to seek asylum in our country. No longer can you seek asylum. Anybody who had an appointment to seek asylum and come into the country, those appointments have been canceled. The app has been deleted, and he is not accepting any new asylum seekers at this time. Unleashing America's energy. That's another one. Drill, drill, drill. Drill, baby, drill. That's giving him more power to drill. Next, we have clarifying the military's role in the territorial integrity of the United States. This is going to give him the power to use the military to do things within the United States, like rounding up the illegals and whoever else he wants to round up. Next, we have the America First trade policy. This one pretty much is America First, buy American, and let's go America. Next, we have the memorandum to resolve the backlog of security clearances for executive office of the president personnel. He doesn't want all his nominees to have to go through such a long background history check. So he's saying, let's shorten it, let's make it easier, let's get my guys in there. We don't need to know if, they like 17-year-olds or if they drugged a woman and raped her in a hotel. That kind of stuff we don't need to know. Let's, cut that out. That's what he says there. Next, we have declaring a national emergency at the southern border for the United States. Again, another tool giving him the ability to build the wall and make it impossible for people to come into the country. Next, we have holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive government information. This is the one where he goes after the people who investigated him, the people who he doesn't like, the people who said bad things about him, like his former national security advisor, Bolton, people like that. He's taking away their security clearance, and he's making it so that they no longer can function in our government. Next, we have restoring accountability to policy influencing positions within the federal workplace. In this one, he is giving himself power over the federal workforce, more power to be able to fire people. In the next one, he will be withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization. He blames the WHO for COVID-19, he says that they were helping China to cover things up. And for that reason, we will no longer be a part of that organization. A lot of people believe that it's a mistake because the World Health Organization is one of the leaders in discovering new diseases and pandemics. And without their help, that we will be more vulnerable to disease. Next, we have application of Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act to TikTok. In this one, he is saying that he believes that TikTok should be owned by Americans and Chinese. As long as an American owns part of TikTok, it should be okay to work in the United States. Next, granting pardons and commutation of sentences for certain offenses relating to the events at or near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. He gave pardons to over 1,500 people, including the leaders of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, who were both convicted of sedition against their country. Both of those sentences will be commuted along with 12 others, while 1,500 will be totally pardoned of all crimes. Pretty much everybody who did anything on January 6, 2021 is pardoned. Next, we have putting America first in international environmental agreements. This one relates to the Paris Climate Accords, which is our agreement with the world that we are not going to emit certain amounts of gases, and he is pulling us from that so that he can drill and burn as much coal and oil as he wants and fill the air with as much pollution as he wants. Next, we have delivering emergency price relief for American families and defeating the cost of living crisis. He is ordering all his departments to figure out how to lower cost and to lower inflation. Next, we have the hiring freeze. Again, no new government employees, no new IRS agents. The hiring of federal employees will freeze until he's ready to continue. Next, we have return to in-person work. This is where Donald Trump is telling all the employees who have been working from home since COVID to get their butt backs to Washington and to start working, or they may face losing their jobs. This is the one where he goes after people who he feels were involved in his prosecution and fires them. Restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship. Former administration was telling these companies what to and what not to put in their platforms. Next, we have initial recessions of harmful executive orders and actions. He is going to take back all the executive orders that Joe Biden put into place and reverse them. That's what that one is. Next, we have flying the flag at full staff on inaugural day. Because of the death of President Jimmy Carter, President Biden ordered that the flags be put at half staff for a 30-day period, which included the inauguration. Donald Trump did not like that, and on Monday, he ordered all flags to be raised back to full staff, regardless of who died. Next, we have President Trump designates chairman and acting chairman. He's filling positions in the government. Next, we have President Trump announces acting cabinet and cabinet level positions. This is where he announces all the cabinet positions. Next, we have President Trump announces sub-cabinet appointments. People who will be working below the cabinet members, like assistants. President Trump announces cabinet and cabinet level appointments. All right, guys, that's it. That's the executive orders that Donald Trump did on day one as president. Let me know what you guys think. I kind of let you guys know what I think, but I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.